Okay, here we are back with another quick little update. We got the bracket all tweaked and all but ready to go on. Get that bolt there. I gotta hog that top hole on the side out a little bit, but that's how it's gonna go. Like I say, I'm gonna get a different style of bolt, and where this bottom one is in here, I'll get that shortened down. That's about the depth. I will get the end of it whittled off on the inside to where it fits in there as good as I can get it, as tight as I can get it. I don't know. I just had another thought. Maybe I'll stuff some JB Weld in there and stuff it into it or something as well. But like I say, got that. I'm gonna go to town tomorrow and probably try to find a little bit longer bolt or a stud like this, or whatever you want to call it. It's goes into a spring hanger, but I need this size shoulder, and I need it to go all the way down about 4 inches, and that'll go in that hole where that one long one there is sticking out. Once I get it sized and whittled down just where it's supposed to be, it will actually, I'm going to weld it to my bracket. So yeah, once I get it to the length, you can see how that one's pretty much bottomed out. So I'm gonna have to take it down about, I don't know, what is that, inch and a quarter or something like that. And once I get it where it goes, then it will get welded to this plate. That'll get stuck in there, bolted on, and that's in place of that bottom bolt. Going back together with it. Just about ready to start going back together with this thing. So maybe by the end of the day tomorrow. No, not if I gotta run to town, and if I can find what I'm looking for. Maybe the next couple of days I'll be going back together with it. So thank y'all for coming along. Maybe the end of this video, and then the next one we'll start slapping it all back together and crossing our fingers that everything holds and everything works. So y'all have a good one, and we'll catch you here later. All right, back for another update on the 580 case today. Shop dogs, what are you doing? A little warm today, isn't it? Yep, it's a little warm. I'm just laying out here in front of the swamp cooler when I got it going. Not too bad in here. 88 degrees at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're probably up around 90 to 92, 95 out there in the sun. I haven't filmed a whole lot today, but and I didn't do anything yesterday. Well, I didn't do anything in the shop. I went to town. If you remember, I was looking at trying to find a bolt with this size shoulder so I could make my dowel. What I ended up doing was picking up some round stock. This, I believe, was ½ inch, maybe 9/16. It ended up, it's a little too big. I also went to the shop where you can buy, no, that's the one I bought at the shop with the steel. Picked up this one at True Value. I already peeled the label off, but I believe it's ½ inch. That's the one that ended up being the right size. Well, good news is I've actually started putting things back together. I'll go out here and have a little wind. Hopefully we can kind of stay out of it. You'll be able to hear me. Got the timing belt on. Got the timing, or the serpentine belt on. Got the motor mounts installed. I've actually got this bolted on. Got my bracket over here all but done. This is the dowel that I've made. Fits in there pretty good. It's a little loose. So what I'm gonna have to do, I've got a nut on there. I'm gonna weld the nut to the dowel. And then I'm actually gonna weld the nut to the plate. But in order to make sure everything lines up right, I'm gonna get the welder out here and put a couple of spot welds on it. So then I can take everything in and get it welded up solid. Got my coupler on. I went ahead, it's hard to see over here, but apparently, I don't know if apparently this rail acts as part of the hydraulic tank. Because when I was going through the assembly manual and stuff, they recommend that when you have this pump off, that you go ahead and there's a screen in here, and they recommend you go ahead and pull that and clean that screen out, which I did, and basically that just goes into that frame rail. So that was interesting. But yeah, we're going back together. So I got the motor mounts in. Got to get in here out of the wind. I got to get my welder drug back out there and put a couple of tacks on that so that I can take the whole works off and bring it in here and get it welded up. I'll splash a little paint on it. Found torque specs for those bolts from on Google from AI. I was surprised that the coupling bolts, where the coupling mounts to the front of the engine, to the crankshaft, I guess, they're only 30 foot-pounds is what they recommend. So I put a little Loctite on them. Google AI is pretty good. I'm surprised how much information it has on this machine. I'm going to check, because originally, so my side bolts on that bracket, I'm definitely going to put locks and flats and a little bit of Loctite. The front ones, I assumed I would use anti-seize, but I'm going to Google it and see, because when I Googled the mounting coupling, or the coupler, it actually told me to use some medium Loctite. So I'm going to see what recommendations they have, because the repair manual that I have don't go into hardly any detail on torques on those bolts and stuff right there for that. I had some old assembly lube left over from when I rebuilt my Jeep engine, so I used that to get the motor mounts in. I've done a test fit here. See how this fits into that mounting flange. Fits in there good. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that assembly grease on it just to help get it together. Hopefully, I think I can. Biggest thing I got to do is line up the bolts and the splines at the same time, but I believe I can stick that in there and still be able to turn it a little bit. If not, I think I can get down into it between the mounting flange and the coupler and turn the hydraulic pump a little bit to line those splines up in the coupler. One thing that I'm curious to see how much more output I might have on my hydraulics, because that old pump, I mean, I can spin it pretty free. The new one, I can just barely get it to turn with just my hand. If I put a tool on there, I probably could, but I don't want to mess up the lines or anything. So, yeah, I'm curious to see if that gives me some extra output on my my hydraulics. So, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple little things here, get that piece welded up, and bring you back later. Hope you're having a good one. Well, there it is. Unfortunately, I don't know if I showed you, if I turned the camera on when I was welding it up or not. Then I went to get it. I don't know. Anyhow, there's my bracket. So basically, that's going to bolt on. I think you probably all understand it now, but this is going to bolt onto the front. These two here holes bolt into the side. So remember, I've got my top bolt. The bottom bolt's the one I couldn't get out. I may have to put another little dab right there, but yeah, that's going to work as act like a dowel. Goes into the front of that. Mounting flange, and give it some extra support since we're only going to have 3 bolts. So I'll let that cool off. I'll let that cool off. Like I said, I may hit that other little spot there. Let it cool off. Squirt it with some of the yellow paint I bought. I mean, I need to paint something, right? I bought a brand new can of what looks to be a pretty close match on the yellow, because I thought I was going to need to paint the pump. Least I can do is paint this bracket and make it where it don't rust out as bad. So that's where we're at for right now. Probably not going to do any more today. I'll have to sit down and see. Yeah, I'll need to get the bolts in the motor mounts. Get this bracket put on, all that mounting flange tightened down. Then I think I can stab the pump. So probably what I'll do tomorrow. I'll go ahead and let this cool off here for a while. Go in and watch a NASCAR race I got recorded. Have some crab and some shrimp and some chicken wings. How's that sound? Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you later. All right, we're back here for an update, end of the day. The next day, it's been so windy outside today that I didn't film anything, but basically, see if we can step out here now without too much wind. Yeah, boy, still got some out here. We are going back together. Got my bracket all bolted in there. Got everything bolted in. Most of the hoses hooked up. These are cooling lines that'll go in. So yeah. Made good progress today. Used the cherry picker and got that up in there. A little bit of got it hung up. Greased my inside of my flange good with some assembly grease. Got it started in there. Rotated it just a little bit to get it to go into the splines on the coupling on the motor. and then got it rotated back, put some bolts in it, sucked it right in there. What else? Got the hydraulic lines all hooked to it. Tomorrow I think I can start putting the radiator and the cooler back on. It's amazing how much Google AI, how much information they have when you ask them the right questions about torque specs and Loctite versus anti-seize and whatnot. So one thing I did find interesting, the bolts that bolt the pump to the flange, you can get a socket on the top two, and AI said about 50 to 60 pounds. Well, the bottom ones, all you can get on there is an open end wrench. You can't get a socket on it, let alone a socket on a torque wrench. So I had to just calculate my torque with the old elbow here. So, good day. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything tomorrow. I might have to run to town and pick up a couple of scripts. If not, then I will get going on this thing and probably get everything on tomorrow. Maybe the hood, I don't know. I'll at least get the radiator and the cooler all mounted up on there. I'm probably going to have to get another 5 gallons of hydraulic oil, and on my way to the house I got to go check and see if I have some antifreeze or not. I think I do, but I got me a little list started for when I go. But today's Sunday. I'm hoping by Wednesday we'll be back up and running, and fingers crossed for no hydraulic leaks. So hope you all had a good one today. Take care, and we'll catch you later. Okay, moment of truth. Let stuff warm up. Sorry, thought it was a leak. A little bit of, not sure what. Okay, no leak. Hydraulic power. I'm gonna let it run a little bit more, get it warmed up good. Check the radiator, see if it needs topped off, which really doesn't matter. I thought I had some antifreeze sitting over in the shed. It turns out it was just a half a jug of water. So I'll pick up some antifreeze tomorrow. Not sure exactly what I got to do tomorrow. I think I got to go pick up some prescriptions for my wife, but yeah, that's a win-win-win. I'm curious to see if I've got more hydraulic power than I did before, as tight as that new pump is and stuff. But I'll get the, I'll let it sit and warm up a little bit, double check for leaks, shut it off. Might go ahead, probably not today. So I've got to get the hood back down here, get it on, get the front counterweight still on it, and should be good to go back to the job. So unless something comes up, this is going to be it for this series. Leave me comments, leave me questions. You got some questions on stuff, let me know. Once again, thank you all for watching. Shop Dogs, what do you think? Was that a success? Hey, was that a success? You guys got to tell me, was that a success? Cisco? Yep, that was a success. Okay, thanks for watching, and y'all have a good one.